So design ethnography is a method of research that allows us to get a deep understanding of the people that we are interested in designing for. What we end up doing is spending time with people in their context so that we can listen to what they say about what they do, to actually observe what they do, and then get an understanding for how they feel about what they do.
In order to apply design thinking to sustainable fishing, we needed to understand the underlying values, behaviors, and interactions of key players in the global fishing industry.
And we went to a whole range of areas. So we went with a buyer over to China to visit processing plants.
We also went to the Great Lakes to actually spend some time with the fish when it landed. And then we also went to Brussels to see how people do deals.
And many other key players in the industry to get an ethnographic understanding of their daily lives as well as their role within the industry.
And so you've got to make sure that you perhaps are following things throughout the system and are actually following an individual throughout the system. Maybe you have to follow 3 or 4 different people throughout the system so that you actually begin to observe the system working.
So by spending time with people in their natural context, you get to see all the kinds of knowledge that they would never think to articulate. And that sort of takes some of the guessing game out of interviewing, because it allows the data to drive the questions to some extent.
And you forget that this isn't an expert interview. I'm actually trying to observe how these people do their job. And so that was something difficult because we were constantly thirsty for more knowledge, more facts. But really the field researchers need to be focused on, what am I seeing here? Why am I seeing that? Why are you pulling the fish off of that net in such a way? In fact, you're not pulling it, you're cutting it. What is that bucket of hot water there for? And really noticing all these little things and not actually getting lost in facts that we could probably read in a paper or in a book.
So our methods for investigating these areas included things like semi-structured interviews, tours of facilities and businesses, shadowing people, and then also participant photojournaling, where we ask participants to carry a camera and respond with the camera to a series of questions that we give them.
And ideally, the insights gained from giving a cultural analysis to ethnographic observations is that you will be able to take those insights and to some extent project them onto situations you haven't seen before, that they are somehow bigger than just the information you get there on the ground.
What the ethnography helped us do is understand how people work together or don't work together in the supply chain. And it actually reinforced for us that there is an uncoupling of the story of how the fish was caught, where it was caught, and what kind of fish it was. When it goes through processing, we got to understand how people were and how they behaved and how did they build trust and how did they build relationships, and at a much more human level than we got when we were doing the first phase of research in the discovery frameworks.
Ethnography has been used in design to inform the design process through something called human-centered design. This practice brings the deep understandings from ethnography to the design process in order to ground design in human needs and naturally occurring behaviors. In this way, ethnography inspires new ideas and uncovers the difference between what people say and what people do.
Design has been incredibly respectful, for the most part, of the sort of ethnographic perspective. They take it seriously and they value the insights that it offers. But I also think that it's been a mutually beneficial thing, because one of the drawbacks of anthropology is that as good as it is at being observational, it sometimes struggles to sort of implement its findings.
We're really trying to be design-minded and design-focused. We're going to bring it back so that we can be inspired by what we saw, and it will inspire the designers to actually say that we can derive really good insights from that, and we can design for those insights.